This is the review for the Chef IQ Smart Cooker. It's a pressure cooker from Kickstarter, now in Target. Included in the box are spoons, a steamer rack, measuring cup, an elevated aluminum rack. This is a 20 cup or I believe 6 liter ceramic coated pan. And here's a look at the actual unit itself. Also included are some rubber gloves to take out the pan. In the example coming up next, I'm going to pressure cook some quinoa. So you can scroll to the settings for pressure cook, grains, and then go down to quinoa and select that. And I'm going to do a 1 cup, and it calculates. It's pretty much always calculating the weight. It takes about 6 minutes once the pressure builds up. I'm going to take out my 1 cup of quinoa and insert that into the pressure cooker and let that sense, and then select continue, and it tells me I need to add 12 ounces of water. I'm going to go over to my already pre-measured of 12 ounces of water, and as you see, the scale is weighing the water, and it will eventually see that it is 13 ounces of water, so it's plus or minus 1 ounce. Tells me that I then need to put on the lid. I grab the lid, I put that on, and as soon as the lid is on, it prompts you with the next steps to select start, and then the pressure builds, and it takes probably about another 4 to 5 minutes for the pressure to build up all the way. And then once the pressure builds up, then it will immediately start to cook the product. So as you can see here, just zooming in, it gets to 5% pretty quick, and it's going to fast forward here up until around 70%. And once it gets to the 70% mark, it starts to self-regulate and then release some steam. So as you can see here, once it gets to around 72%, it then releases a jet of steam out of the top of the pot. So you want to have enough clearance where it actually can vent itself. And so as you can see what happens there, you see the steam coming out of the top of the vent. It eventually equalizes, and then pretty much once the steam equalizes, it's pretty much at a level where it can then rapidly start cooking. Um, it can rapidly start cooking the item that you have inside of the pressure cooker. So I'm just going to fast forward a little bit here, and then once the equalization happens, jumps from 95% and then into the cooking. And so that's just where it takes a good 6 minutes for the quinoa to actually cook. I can cook it myself, but normally it will not turn out as a good quality as actually using the Chef IQ. So just going to fast forward here. You don't want to see 5 minutes of cooking. The quinoa is now cooked, and a jet of steam releases from the smart cooker. I have this on the quick release, or it's like the fast release setting, and it pretty much immediately vents out of the smart cooker, so you can start to partake in the food that you've cooked. They do have some additional options where you can pulse it and have a more steady release of the steam from the unit. And so here is what you can, here's another take from another angle of what actually happens when the steam is ejecting out. Once that ejects out, there's a red knob there. As soon as it drops into the lid, it is safe for you to take the lid off of the Smart IQ. It drops here. So overall, I do like the product. Cooks very quickly and efficiently. I've tried a few meals in here. I've tried quinoa. I've tried kale. I've done some chicken wings and salmon. So it's a very good unit. It cooks up very well. And as you can see here with the quinoa, the quinoa has like quadrupled in size from that 1 cup, and it is perfect. It's light, it's fluffy, it's juicy, and ready to eat. Usually it's burnt. So here are a few examples of the chicken wings, and then here's a little claw gloves, rubber gloves that come with the unit. Here's the chicken and quinoa, and here's where this is the portion where you can sear salmon. So I wish I would have known that with the chicken wings. Here's a look at the Android app that comes with the product. I haven't really used it too much. This is where it gives you has a few favorites or a few, I think like 100 um, pre-cooked or pre meals that are already in the app. Here's for some marinara sauce. It kind of gives you step by step how to add ingredients. Pretty much just put the oil in there, and then step by step you add the items. Just kind of in the marinara sauce or the recipe. You do have some options here where you can actually here's some options where you can look at the settings on here. I skipped a portion where it actually has my Wi-Fi information. It does keep track of your cooking history, but only from the app. It does not keep track of the cooking history where you manually perform it on the Chef IQ. I hope that would be coming in an additional software update. There's just what's new. It's version 1.0 for the Chef IQ. And here's a calculator on here where you can actually um, check some settings on here for like slow cooking, using the pressure cooker for steaming, and there's options for favorites. Don't have anything set in there right now. Um, but the calculator, it's smart to kind of figure out if you have if it's not something that's in the cooking presets, or it's something that you don't want to go through all the menus on the actual Chef IQ. You can actually put in some different options on here for the food that you want. You know, if you have 4 to 5.5 pounds of ribs, you put that in there and you send it or set it to the smart cooker, and it will cook using the options that you've selected inside of the Android app. Here are some manual ways where you can actually set up the Chef IQ. You can change the timer. It limits it to a max of 1 hour 59 minutes. You can change the options for pressure cooker, steam, searing, extra warm, and from some additional options here you can change. Sorry, I went back to the wrong thing. You can actually change the settings on there for fermenting, and that's for yogurt. I haven't tried that yet, but that may be something I want to try. Um, and you can change the delay on. You can have food, and you can delay it for a couple of hours. That's a quick release mode for the steam, and I have the keep warm settings off. I've tried it before where I actually cooked a meal at lunch, and I kept it warm for a whole 6 hours, and the food was perfect when it came back. Has an option that it will go to sleep while you have that keep warm function, and here are a few pictures of some food that I've cooked in there. This is where I wish I've known I could have seared some of the food a little bit ahead of time, and this is some salmon that came out pretty well with some kale. So 2 meals and came out with no problem. So this is the first look and the first review of the Chef IQ Smart Cooker. If you'd like to see more of my videos, please like and subscribe.